Hello YouTubers, this is SHEM. For over a month I've been testing the brand new Samsung Galaxy Note 4 and the time has come to bring you my detailed review of the device. As always, there is a timeline in the video description so that you can jump to the section of interest. I hope you'll enjoy the video. Let's begin with the unboxing. The phone comes packaged in a great card box from recycled paper. On the back you can find some information about the various technologies used in the device, such as the Super AMOLED display and a short spec sheet. My Note 4 comes with the octa-core Exynos 5 Octa. Let's take a look inside the box. The first thing you see after opening is your brand new smartphone covered in protective films. I'm gonna put the device aside for a minute and show you the remaining box contents. Once you remove the card divider, you'll find the instruction manuals. Below lies the USB cable for charging and data exchange, white in-canal earphones, a tool to change the S Pen tips along with a few spare tips, fast charging wall charger, and the 3220 mAh battery for the smartphone. Let's now move on to the build and design of the Galaxy Note 4. The display is protected with a film that has a feature list imprinted. I'm gonna remove it. On the top lies the speakerphone, below which is the Samsung logo. On the left we have the sensors and a 3.7 megapixel selfie camera capable of recording in 1080p. On the right hand side lies the multicolored notification LED light. Below we have the 5.7 inch 2K Super AMOLED display entirely covered by Corning Gorilla Glass 4. Below the screen is the home button characteristic for Samsung devices and the back and recent apps buttons. The home button hides the fingerprint scanner as well. Surrounding the whole device is a polished aluminum frame. On the left side lies the volume rocker. On the bottom we have two microphones and a micro USB charging port as well as a slot for the S Pen. On the right side of the smartphone is the power button, and on the top an IR sensor on the right and microphone and headphone jack on the left. On the back of the device is the 16 megapixel camera module with autofocus and LED flash and a pulse meter. Below we have the Samsung logo and the main speaker. The back cover is removable and you can take it off by prying a slit on the right side. It's made of nice to the touch plastic, identical to the one used in previous Galaxy Note. Below the cover you'll find the micro SD card slot, the micro SIM slot and a place for the battery. Note 4 is not compatible with the QI wireless charging standard out of the box. You'll have to invest in a separate cover if you want to use that technology. The size of Note 4 is quite hefty. The device is 154mm in length, 79mm in width and 8.5mm in thickness and weighs 176 grams. A few years ago a device of that size would be considered a tablet, but in 2014 it's actually quite similar to other flagship devices. I've had a chance to compare it with the Xperia Z3 and I have to say that the difference in size was not big at all. I'm glad that Samsung finally decided to use metal in their smartphones as the effect is stunning. Note 4 is a beautiful piece of hardware. The one thing it lacks is the water resistance and IP certification, and of course aluminum has its downsides and after some time small scratches started to show. Moving on to the technical specifications, Galaxy Note 4 comes in various model versions. In Europe we have the SM910C with Exynos 5 Octa and SM910F with Snapdragon 805. My unit came with Exynos. I've not had a chance to compare the two models side by side, but Exynos one supports 64 bits and has a Wolfson audio chip. On the other hand, Snapdragon version is said to have better battery life, more support from developers, but also more heating problems. Other than the CPU, the devices are almost identical. Both come with 3GB of RAM and 32GB of internal memory expandable by the microSD cards. Additionally, we have Bluetooth 4.0, NFC, LTE, GPS and GLONASS technologies. On a cloudy day with airplane mode switched on, the Note 4 locked onto 14 satellites within just a couple of seconds. It had no problems with Wi-Fi or mobile reception either. The device currently works on Android 4.4.4 with the TouchWiz skin from Samsung. It should get the Android Lollipop update in the first quarter of 2015. In In Antutu benchmark, my unit achieved 47,768 points, which is the highest result that I've ever seen. Of course, this has nothing to do with performance in practice, but here you have nothing to worry about either. I think that this is the first smartphone that has a 2K resolution screen that works smoothly. The TouchWiz skin, despite offering a ton of features, only shows very occasional lags in interface. When testing the phone in demanding games such as Wheel Racing 3 or Gangster Vegas 4, it performed very well and I didn't notice frame drops or lags. The Galaxy Note 4 has a single speaker located on the back. Its location does not cause accidental muffling during normal use, and the sound is decent for a mobile device. It is, however, very shallow and lacks bass, and is definitely not a competitor for brilliant HTC boom sound speakers. In such a big smartphone, I would expect stereo speakers located on the front. Thanks to the system-wide built-in equalizer, you can adjust the sound to your ear. During calls, I had no problem with the speakerphone loudness, and people on the other side didn't complain about the quality either. The 5.7-inch display of the Note 4 has a resolution of 1440 by 2560 pixels, which gives it a pixel density of 515 pixels per inch. The technology used is Super AMOLED, and it is entirely covered by the newest Corning Gorilla Glass 4 tempered glass. This is the highest resolution display available on any mobile device. In my opinion, the difference between a Full HD and a 2K display is not noticeable on such small displays, as I've already mentioned during my G3 review, but at least you know you have the best out there. The display in Note 4 is breathtaking. Thanks to AMOLED technology, it has infinite contrast and perfect blacks, and the colors are very vivid. In settings, you can adjust the display modes to suit your preference. Additionally, here we also have the Smart State feature that detects when you're looking at the screen to keep it on, and the increased sensitivity mode that will be perfect for colder days when you want to use the device in gloves. As I've previously mentioned, the Galaxy Note 4 works on Android 4.4.4 KitKat with Samsung's TouchWiz skin. My unit came with branded firmware with extra bloatware, but I managed to remove it by installing the clean software version. There is a guide on my channel that explains the procedure. Moving on to the software in TouchWiz, I have to say that I don't personally like its looks, but the multitude of functions it offers makes it one of the best available and makes Note 4 brilliant for both work and entertainment. I don't want to bore you with all of its features in this review because there are a ton. I have prepared a separate video in which I'll walk you through the software and the S Pen stylus features. I will, however, say that Samsung knows how to make use of the big display and make work easy on such a massive device. The S Pen completely changes how you use the smartphone and lets you discover a completely new way of interacting with the device. Additionally, along with the purchase of the Note 4, we get a selection of paid apps for free in Galaxy apps, and multitude of sensors come in handy in apps such as S-Health or Smart Remote. After over a month with Note 4, I would find it hard to move to any other smartphone that lacks the extensive functionality offered here. Note 4 comes with a 3220 mAh lithium-ion battery. I've tested the smartphone for over a month and the battery life is okay, but not great. During relatively intensive usage, it would nearly always last me a full day. I've been getting around 4.5 hours of screen on time when on Wi-Fi and around 3.5 hours when I only used LTE. Those are rather average results. The fast charging technology that comes with the charger included in the box is a lifesaver and charges your phone to 50% in just 30 minutes. Of course, yet another advantage of the Note 4 is a removable battery. For those of you who game a lot or travel, a second one might come in handy. Now let's move on to the camera. On the back is a 16 megapixel module with LED flash and autofocus, and on the front a 3.7 megapixel camera capable of recording in Full HD. The layout of the camera app is quite standard, with quick settings found on the left hand side in horizontal position. In settings you can find a long list of toggles such as image stabilization, resolution or ISO settings, and HDR toggle. We can drag any shortcut to the quick settings pane. This smartphone can record at a maximum resolution of Ultra HD 4K. There are a few shooting modes that can be found in the app as well, such as panorama mode, virtual tour or sequence shot. What the app lacks is a manual mode where we could adjust aperture value or select scenes, which we can find in other flagships such as the HTC One M8 for instance. But the quality of photographs taken with automatic mode of Note 4 is outstanding. I have taken the device with me whilst traveling to Sri Lanka and photographs taken with Note 4 are phenomenal. The automatic mode adjusts all parameters perfectly and results in well exposed photographs during daylight. Macro shots look better than ever, and even when the lighting conditions are further from ideal, the device performs very well and photographs have sufficient detail level. Only shots taken with this 3.7 megapixel front camera disappointed me a little bit. I simply expected better than average results. There are now smartphones that have 8 megapixel front-facing cameras for selfies that perform way better. Note has however got an interesting selfie panorama mode to take wide-angled selfies with friends. When it comes to recordings with Note 4, the 4K clips are limited to 5 minutes in length. During recording we can change focus by tapping on the screen. Other than 4K we can also capture in 60 frames per second Full HD and in slow or fast motion. So as usual at the end I'm going to summarize the smartphone and help you decide if the Note 4 is the phone for you. Its main strengths are a beautiful high-resolution display, high-quality build materials, a multitude of sensors and technologies incorporated such as IR sensor or fingerprint scanner, useful software features, S Pen support, replaceable battery, 32GB storage with expansion, smooth interface and a package of free apps. At first sight, Note 4 seems not to have any weaknesses, but I actually found quite a few. First of all, we have the poor speaker, which should have been replaced by a set of front-facing stereo speakers. Secondly, the phone lacks water resistance and IP certification. Next, we have the lack of FM radio, which some users could find useful. Lack of QI charging support out of the box, and an average selfie camera. Last on the list are also a high price of the smartphone and its size, which might be big for some to handle comfortably. In my opinion, Note 4 is the best smartphone that I've ever tested, and it's probably gonna stay in my hands for a few more months. Samsung did a great job and I'm glad that they finally started using premium materials in their devices. I hope that you've enjoyed my review. I look forward to your comments, and if you did like what you saw, please feel free to subscribe and don't forget to hit the like button under the video. Thanks for watching.